Hey, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets. I'm out here on the road right now, traveling on my way to San Diego to take care of some business, look at some real estate, and do some pickup and game, of course, right? That's what I do. So I want to do this quick coaching video because I got a question from a subscriber of mine, and I tend to get this question a lot. Like, a lot of guys tend to ask me, like, hey, do you ever feel, subconscious? Do you ever feel like, everybody's watching you or judging you? And the thing I have to say about that is there are times where I've felt that, okay? And the reason why you are feeling that, where that comes from is basically it comes from a lack of entitlement, okay? Because when you feel like you are lacking entitlement, and you feel like you are not good enough just as you are, you will tend to feel that people are judging you, right? They might be looking down at you like, man, why is this guy here? He doesn't belong here. Get out of here, right? You'll feel self-conscious. Feel like everyone's just kind of watching you. If you haven't had a whole lot of self-development training, you're just gonna feel these emotions naturally as a man, especially in today's world, because nobody is supporting men out there, right? There is really a witch hunt for men right now. And you see this with all these Me Too movements, these sexual harassment cases that are being plastered all over mainstream media and all over the news. They want anybody with a penis to believe that, hey, you might be a predator too, mister. You better watch yourself, and it tends to put you in your head like, hey, man, I'm not a predator, even though you might not have done anything remotely close to what any of those other guys have done, like a Harvey Weinstein or any of those other rapists in Hollywood. You might not have done anything remotely close to that, yet you're feeling like, hey man, I don't want anyone thinking I'm that way. And I remember there was a period where I was building my business and I just completely took a break from approaching women, took a break from dating women. At that time I had changed my cell phone number, so I really cut the world off, right? And I cut off all these girls that I had in my life for about a 3-year period. So whenever I hear these MGTOW guys go, oh yeah, you gotta go MGTOW. You know what, I went MGTOW before there was even a MGTOW movement, right? Before there was even a MGTOW community, I technically went MGTOW because I completely shut women out of my life. And an interesting thing happened, whereas when I had all these beautiful women in my life that I was dating actively, right, I felt very entitled. I felt very empowered, okay? To the point where I was never self-conscious of anything. Let me give you a random example. For example, like if I would take too long to order my food in a restaurant, or say even a fast food line, right? Say I'm going through a drive-thru since I'm here traveling, getting gas and whatnot, going through a drive-thru. Even if there was somebody behind me, it doesn't mean I would be inconsiderate and take my sweet-ass time. It was just the fact that I stayed icy, right? When I was ready to order and I figured out what I wanted, I would go ahead and place my order. Whereas once I took this weird break from women, like a 3-year break, I noticed that my entitlement had gone down. It's odd, right? My entitlement had gone down to the point where I would be in line just ordering food. And even if there was nobody behind me waiting, I was kind of self-conscious, right? Like I didn't want the person, in the drive-thru like waiting to take my order, or the waitress having to wait too long for me. I kind of lost that sense of entitlement. It was odd, right? And you might think like, oh, see, you're not alpha after all, and all this other stuff. Like you need women to be alpha. And no, that's not true at all. Because I went through that experience, I was able to test myself later and just enter this higher dimension, this higher reality, this higher consciousness where I was able to take my sweet ass time when I needed to in order to find, without getting self-conscious, put it that way. But I mean, that's a level that it's very, very hard to reach for most guys, okay? It's very, 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 very hard to reach that. It is so much easier to reach that when you have beautiful women in your life, when you don't even have to be out there actively approaching. When you're just dating a beautiful woman, you'll feel empowered. You'll feel this power over everyone almost. When these little things in life happen, like say some AMOG takes a little, makes a little snarky remark at you, it's just gonna wash right off. It's not even gonna bother you because you're gonna be thinking to yourself, that guy is such a chump. A guy who dates beautiful women, a guy who's getting laid by the type of women, high caliber women that he wants to, believe me, he's on cloud 9. He could give a shit less what other guys are doing. He is not gonna try to bring other guys down in order to make himself feel better. That's what little bitches do, okay? So when I get guys hating on my comment section and making little snarky comments like that, you're not hurting me, you're just showing me what a little bitch you are, okay? So, I mean, I've been in field for over 2 decades. I've had my ego shattered before by much harsher comments than what anybody on YouTube could ever say to me, what any hater could ever say to me. I've seen it all, I've heard it all, and you know what, I'm still here. So, during this time where I stopped dating beautiful women, like I said, it was a three-year period, I lost that entitlement. And I started to get a little self-conscious. Very, very strange. Even just the slightest things. If somebody was behind me, just little demons started to enter my head, like, oh man, did I iron my shirt today? Am I looking my best today? Is there like a spot on my back or something? I feel like they keep looking at me. You know, I started to get a little self-conscious, whereas before, when I was dating all these hot women, I didn't feel any of that. I could care less. I was feeding off the attention. I was like, look at me, man. Look at all these hot girls in my life. Look at all these hot girls I'm coming home to. What do you do with your life, right? I just felt naturally that I was doing way better than everyone else. And I still believe that. Still believe that. Very rarely do I meet another male that is doing better than me socially. Right? They might be doing better financially and physically. They might be in better shape, but socially, I'm kicking their ass. It's impossible not to feel empowered and entitled in life when you're dating these hot girls. And it really shields you from all the little petty things that happen in life where it doesn't bring down your state. You don't get as irritated as easily. Your cortisol levels don't spike as easily like they do for most people, right? Most people, it's very easy to anger them. It's very easy to get them to react. I always joke with a lot of my wings that when we go to these venues, we can pick out the guys where we're like, all we have to do is take a shot at that guy, guaranteed he'll be ready to fight. Guaranteed he'll want to kick your ass if you just say this one thing to him. By the way, I voluntarily took that break away from dating and away from approaching to focus on building my business because I knew that I just needed to separate myself from it for a while. At least in the beginning stages, just because I built businesses before and I know my behavioral patterns, and I knew that if I was still out there approaching, it'd be very, very hard for me to concentrate and I wouldn't be able to build the best product possible. And especially in the very first years of building a business where you're really building, you know, the base of the business. It's like building the foundation of a house before you start really building onto it, you know. I mean, the foundation is so important. Just that base. So I knew I needed to take a break away from doing pickup, away from dating. And at that time, I had lost my cell phone, and I figured, you know what, rather than replace the cell phone, I just canceled my service. I literally cut myself off from everyone. So it wasn't just, you know, dating girls and approaching girls, but I just cut myself off from everybody, including family. A lot of people had no idea where I was or what I was doing. And last they heard, you know, I left my corporate job. They had no clue what I was up to. And I'm one of those types of people too. I don't like to talk about what I'm doing. I rather just let my actions and results speak for themselves. Because, you know, you ever meet people who like talk, you know, all they do is tell you about their plans and they talk to the point where they talk themselves right out of their own plans, right? It's like because they were talking about it so much, they get bored of it and then they just never end up pursuing it. Where I don't like to do that. I just like to take action, just start swinging the hammer and start building. So I voluntarily took a break from dating these girls and approaching them and doing pickup and dating. It was by my own doing. And when I came back, I really had to clean house and decide which girls I still wanted to continue talking to, because I also don't like to live off my past laurels, right? You know, you meet a lot of guys that, you know, even friends of yours where they're still living in the past. They're still, you know, touting about their high school glory days or their collegiate glory days. You know, and I had a lot of great days, a lot of glory days from high school and college that I could reminisce on for the rest of my life, but I don't like to do that. I don't like to rest on my laurels. I love to keep moving forward. I like to keep moving forward. It keeps me energized. It keeps me passionate about life. It keeps me engaged in life, but most of all, it keeps me alert in life. So the point of this coaching video is if you're feeling self-conscious in life, if you're feeling like everyone out there is judging you or thinking you're not good enough to be in their presence. You know where that's coming from? It's coming from a lack of entitlement. It's coming from not feeling good in your own body. It's coming from you not feeling like you are enough, okay? Many times, now that I'm living in LA and Hollywood, I go into these venues, they've got celebrities in there, right? I know there's this place I go to called the Bungalow in Santa Monica. Owen Wilson's in there a lot, right? Owen Wilson, I've seen Tobey Maguire in there. I've seen Tim Ferriss, who one of my favorite authors for you guys who've read the 4-Hour Workweek. A lot of these high-profile guys are in there. Very easy to get intimidated in there. Plus, of course, there's models in there. I've seen a lot of models at the Bungalow. Definitely tons of drop-dead gorgeous women in there. It's easy to get inside your head, like, man, do I belong here? Am I good enough to be here? It's easy to get in your head when you don't feel entitled. But you know what? Those people, they have problems just like you do. They bleed red just like you do. And you have to understand that when you don't feel like you are good enough or you are enough as a person, you are going to transfer those feelings onto others. And just by the law of state transference, they are going to feel like you are not enough either, because that is what you are feeling. So it's very, very key that you feel that you are enough, right? And you feel that wherever you are, hey, I have a right to be here. It's a public place. I belong here just like you do, just like anybody does. And you have no right to make me feel bad or self-conscious about that. Then again, nobody can make you feel bad or self-conscious about anything but you, okay? It all starts and ends with you. So you have to feel that you are enough. You have to feel that you are entitled. And you have to feel that you don't owe anybody any explanations, right? But the biggest key is to feel entitled, right? That you belong and that you are enough. And you have nothing to prove to anybody but yourself. Until next time.